On this video, I'm going to show you how to price commercial cleaning contracts, and not only that, but I'm also going to show you how to price post-construction jobs, move-out cleans. So if you have a cleaning business but you don't know how to price, this video is for you. And since 2017, I grew my own commercial cleaning business, Mastery Cleaning, to over $6 million in revenue. So you're learning from someone who's done this. So let's jump into my computer and show you exactly how we price commercial cleaning contracts. And there's two ways of pricing a commercial cleaning contract. One is based on the square footage, and the other one is based by the hour and how long it would take to clean. I personally like to price my contracts based by the hour because there can be a 10,000 square foot office and another one that's the same size, but one has a lot of traffic, a lot of cubicles. It gets dirty very often. There's more traffic. So one contract could take 6 hours while the other one only takes 3 to 4 hours. So we cannot charge the same just because they're the same size. So when it comes to medical facilities, factories, or very heavy duty machinery or heavy duty manufacturing facilities, places that get dirty or places that require very OCD cleaning, such as medical, those types of contracts will take longer usually. And when we do a walkthrough, we kind of estimate one labor hour is gonna cover anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 worth of square feet of cleaning per hour. And we're gonna price our contracts anywhere between $35 an hour to $100 per hour, depending on the size. And it's all about the volume and the type of client. When it comes to restaurants or retail, they tend to have thinner margins, so they're gonna be a little bit more concerned about the price. But most clients, they're not concerned about the price. They wanna pick the best cleaning company that's gonna provide a good service, stress-free, without any quality problems. So when it comes to office cleaning, commercial cleaning, clients don't care about picking the cheapest one. And you may be asking, why would I price 35 to 100? So it all comes down to the frequency and estimated time per visit, because we want to make it worth the drive. So if there's a small contract once a week, it takes 2 hours to clean, we would be charging about 60 to 70 an hour because it's not that often and it's not that many hours per visit. So a contract like that would be anywhere between 500 to 700 a month. So a contract like that would be about 500-600 per month. And if there's a big contract that's Monday to Friday, 8 hours per visit, we would charge about 35 an hour because it's a lot of hours. And for a contract like that, I would price anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 per month. So how do we come up with the total price for a recurring commercial contract? So we're gonna estimate how long it's gonna take per visit, and then we're gonna times it by the weekly frequency. So if there's a contract that takes 3 hours per visit, 3 times a week, first, we're gonna estimate how much are we gonna charge per visit. Let's say we're gonna charge $150 per visit, which comes to about $50 per hour. And this contract will pay about $450 per week. And from here, we have two options. We can either invoice the client every 4 weeks or monthly. I personally recommend charging every 4 weeks because you get to invoice the client 13 times a year. And when you tell people that you're gonna invoice them every 4 weeks, they automatically think it's monthly. But it's not. So when you're giving the price to the client, it will seem slightly smaller when you charge every 4 weeks. Because if they require you to invoice them every single month, or they specifically requested you to invoice them every month, then you will have to take your weekly total times 4.33. Because some months have 4 weeks, other months have 5 weeks. So on average, a month has 4.33 weeks on average. So for this contract, we're pricing them $450 per week. If we get to invoice them every 4 weeks, it's gonna be $1,800 invoiced every 4 weeks, which comes to about $23,400 every single year. But now, if we had to invoice the client every single month, we would take the $450 times 4.33, which comes to $1,948. And when we times that by 12, that comes to $23,382 per year, which is the same yearly total. But instead of telling them we're gonna charge them $1,948, instead of giving that, we're gonna tell them $1,800 invoiced every 4 weeks. See? And by doing that, it's gonna help you make more money in your cleaning business, and it should slightly improve the closing rate as well. And there's some examples here of how much I would charge per visit. And as you can see here, based on how long it would take, that's how much I would charge per visit. But just remember, with all the inflation happening, I will charge a little bit more. But if you're doing the entire business, sometimes you may be forced to charge 25 to 30 an hour. And if you hire minimum wage workers, I'm sure you can make a little bit. But me personally, I never go below 35 an hour because I pay my cleaners very good. And during the closing process, I tell the client why they shouldn't pick the cheapest one. I tell them what happens when you pick the cheapest provider. You're gonna get unreliable workers, minimum wage workers. There's gonna be a new cleaner every other week. The quality will not be consistent. It will not be safe for your facility. The company may hire illegal workers, which you may be liable for in case they fall. So we tell them that picking the cheapest quote will not lead to a long-term happy outcome for them. And then I tell them, we have very good cleaners. We pay them good. We require at least 5 years experience. We have inspectors, a regional manager. So before any problems come up, we will fix it without them even noticing. But let's go back in pricing these contracts correctly. So whenever you're pricing a commercial contract, you need to estimate how much profit you're gonna make. And you have to ask yourself, how much would I have to pay someone to keep a reliable cleaner here, happy with the pay, and they're gonna be here long term. And then you calculate how much profit you're gonna make for this contract. And if you wanna make more profit, simply increase the price slightly. So here's some numbers of how much I would pay a subcontractor, which they make a little bit more. And I personally like to hire subcontractors because there's no deductions off their pay. I only pay them once a month, 10 days after they send me the invoice. So that allows me to get paid first, and then I have to pay the subcontractors. So I'm always cash flow positive. So if there's a contract that only takes 1 hour per visit, I would personally pay the subcontractor anywhere between 35 to 50 for that visit because it needs to be worth the drive. Usually I pay around 20 to 25, but when it's only 1 hour, we have to make sure that it's worth the drive for them. And if it takes 2 hours per visit, I would pay them anywhere between 50 to 75 per visit. If it takes 3 hours, I would pay anywhere between 80 to 100 per visit. If it takes 4 hours, I would pay about 100. And if it takes 5 hours or longer, I would pay anywhere between 22 to 25 per hour. And remember, these numbers can change in the future. And if you have a walkthrough and you're kind of concerned about how much to price and you don't have a mentor by your side, what you can do is call 3 different competitors in your city, pretend that you have an office, and just tell them, we have an office 3 hours per clean 3 times a week. And you can ask them, how much will your estimated quote be before someone comes out into our facility? And they're gonna push for a walkthrough, but just try to get the price on the phone call, pretending that you have an office and you need cleaning services. And for all these contracts, always aim for a 40% profit minimum. So now let's go over how do we price one-time cleaning jobs. And it's very simple. We simply want to make $50 per hour minimum for 5 hours minimum, just so it's worth the drive for our cleaners. So if someone calls me and they tell me, Rick, I have an office that's 15,000 square feet and I need a deep clean, I would kind of estimate how long it would take to clean the square footage. So if it's normal cleaning, it's about 1,500 per labor hour. If it's a deep clean, it covers about 1,000 square feet per labor hour. So deep clean or post-construction, post-rental, those would be the premium. But if it's just a regular clean, I would estimate 1 labor hour covers 1,500 square feet. So for a 15,000 square foot office, I would price them anywhere between 500 to 800, depending how dirty it is. And when it comes to one-time jobs, a way to kind of save yourself is to kind of limit how many hours you can be at that job. And if it takes longer, you're gonna have to charge an additional $50 per labor hour. So that way, if the project takes longer than expected, you're gonna be covered. And lastly, I want to talk about how to price post-construction jobs. And first, you need to understand that there's two kinds of post-construction. One type of contract is a one-time project, like a big building and they're finishing up and they just need it to be cleaned. And the other type of post-construction, let's say there's a builder and every month they build 8 to 10 houses which need to be cleaned. So how do we structure this? So for the builder that's making multiple houses, what we want to do, we want to clean the same house twice. And every contract's slightly different, but I'll tell you what worked for me because these houses needed to be spotless before people moved in. So what we would do, we would have a 5-hour minimum and we would clean the same house twice. So when the house was almost done, I would send my crew and they would spend 8, 10, 12 hours to clean. And then next week, because in between there was always like inspectors checking the house. And then the next week they would do the final touch up, which would be about 6 hours. And every month I would send the total hours to the client and I would simply charge $37 per hour. So every single month, the invoice was different. And by doing the same house twice, it provided the best level of quality. Because when it comes to post-construction, the first clean doesn't usually cover everything. There's gonna be inspectors walking in, touch-ups happening, dirt's being tossed around, and the house cannot be ready for someone to move in under that condition. So that's why we cleaned it twice. But I'm gonna have to wrap this up. And guys, remember, if you want one-on-one mentorship, if you wanna grow your commercial cleaning business all done with you, get all the SOPs, the systems. I wanna help you place a client acquisition system in your business so you can get walkthroughs every single week. And there's a lot more to it. I'm gonna have a business plan, link on the description, and all the information you need will be there. I highly recommend reviewing that document. It's gonna help you a lot. So thank you so much for watching and we'll see you guys in the next video.